I played No, I'm Not a Human, a horror game that recently seemed to be gaining a lot of traction. Essentially, the story is that the sun has become extremely hot and everyone has to stay indoors. And while you'll want to let people into your home in order to shelter them from the sun, there's also been these visitors that have seemingly emerged from the earth and will seek to do you harm if you let them in instead. But the thing is, they look near human. Something that we've seen before, of course, with games like That's Not My Neighbor and whatnot. And similar to that and Papers, Please, your whole thing is you're trying to look for identifying signs as to who's a human and who's a visitor. Stuff that the news will tell you throughout the game. Your goal is to try and survive and not let the visitors in. Seems simple, right? Well, it's not quite so simple. The way that you can tell the visitors are symptoms that can be found on normal people. This is something that I didn't even realize at first until I looked into the mirror at myself and noticed that I shared two of the symptoms that the visitors also had, that being the perfect white teeth and also a fungus underneath my armpits in the game, which I ended up having to wash off so that I wouldn't be mistaken for one. Because there's one character in the game that repeatedly showed up at my door who was super paranoid and was looking for any sign I could be a visitor so he could blow my brains out. So as all these people come in with their intricate stories and reasons why they want to shelter in your house, suddenly you don't know what to believe. You've got this sense of paranoia because now, what are you looking for? When you bring them in and you're checking them out to see, well, if they're a visitor or not, do you trust that those perfect white teeth are because they're a visitor? Or is it because they're just a child? Is that fungus under their arms because they're a visitor? Or is it because they're elderly and can't take care of themselves anymore? What about the people that are so horrifically scarred that you just can't tell what's going on with them anymore? And that's the whole point of the game, is that it wants to build this sense of paranoia. Apart from one character in particular, which we're going to get into, apart from one notable character which we're going to get into, almost all the characters you see are meant to give you suspicions. They're meant to make you question all the time whether or not you're letting someone in your home that could seek to do you and the others harm. And you only have a limited amount of energy as well to actually be able to investigate. Starting off with like 1 or 2 energy, and I went up as far as 3 energy, meaning that I could, if I had like 4 or 5 people in the house, I could only really check like maybe 3 people at most, and that wouldn't even be a very deep search. And if I was wrong, well, someone could die, and I would be one less person down. And there's another rule that they make explicitly clear. Do not be alone when the visitors arrive, which only serves to heighten the tension even more. And trust me, there is one character in particular that you know is a visitor and serves to taunt you throughout the entire experience. That being the Pale Visitor. This gaunt, horrific-looking person who serves to just taunt you throughout the entire game. And even then, if you want to have even more anxieties, there's also the FEMA agents. They're the people who are giving you these symptoms which seem contradictory at times, given that they can be shared amongst visitors and humans, but they'll also come along and forcibly take away people as well. They claim that it's so that they can investigate that those people are visitors, but you're told that the people that go in there never come out, meaning that you're essentially feeding these people to potentially die. And they may very well be innocent. Some of them I'm pretty sure were innocent. They were people that I'd already investigated and written off as not being harmful, not being visitors. But I didn't get a say in the matter. During my gameplay, I was playing more of a pacifist, as I tried not to shoot, as I wanted to thoroughly investigate each person that made it into the house. Plus I knew that if I let more people in, I had a greater chance of not running out. Because, okay, if I lose one person, I've probably still got 3 other people waiting in the wings. The only time that I pulled the gun out was when I really started to run low right at the very end. And I got desperate because I knew that if I messed this up, I could end up without anyone at the end and be a sitting duck. The ending I got was that I had made it through to the end, but that I'd brought some visitors with me, which meant that I got killed in the process. The worst part is, I couldn't tell you what I did wrong. I couldn't tell you what parts I missed because the game leaves so much up for you to question. And I gotta tell you, I am absolutely playing this game again. I can't recommend this game enough. From what I can tell, some of it is random on who's a human and who's a visitor, but I think that lends to itself even more, because again, you don't know what, because that can only heighten the paranoia. I forgot to even mention that, on top of all the other stuff I mentioned earlier, sometimes the characters won't play along. For instance, if you go up to one of the characters and you say want to check about the armpits to see about if the armpits are hairy or not, if they've got fungus in the armpits, they might just call you a creep, thinking that you're just some pervert trying to, get your sick kicks from them. So what do you do then? Do you just shoot them because they won't show you? Or do you just go, okay, well, I guess we've got to try something else and waste a second bit of energy? Given your limited supplies, you may not have the resources to, waste it on that character. But what if they're innocent? And have a legitimate reason to be doubtful of you? I mean, why did they ask to go into your house then if they're so paranoid about you? But there we go. I could go on and on. There's so much more that I could delve into, but genuinely, I can't recommend this game enough. It's not an outright scary horror to me. It doesn't leave me panicking or anything like that. The sense of paranoia it instills in me, though, is so breathtaking. I don't think I've ever had a game quite like it before that's truly had me questioning my decision-making skills. I highly recommend checking it out and supporting the developers.